around Miami. The Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins are safely inside Marlins Park. Roof shut, AC on. Game 2 on. Braves winners last night. Braves are rolling. They continue to play well. Best record in the National League. Chris Coughlin, Brian McCann, Logan Morrison, all getting ready. Julio Teheran gets the ball. Christian Yelich will be facing a good right-hander, and Tom Kohler goes for the pitch. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. The Marlins are getting a good look, and they've had this look all season long at why the Atlanta Braves are the best team record-wise in the National League.
Well, they come at you all ways. They have tremendous pitching. The starters are real solid. And we've seen a good look at their bullpen, and when Kimbrel comes in to close, you know why the Braves are where they are.
For the Braves, these last 20 games, it's getting ready for the postseason. For the Marlins, it's a chance to look towards next year, put some pieces in different places. One of those guys who's been in a variety of spots is Chris Coughlin.
I think, Rich, it's really interesting for Chris Coughlin. He's gotten work at third base. We've seen him start some games in right field. He's starting in left field tonight. It hasn't affected his hitting at all. In 7 games, .310. Matter of fact, the last 3 games for Coughlin, he's 7 for 14, coming off a 4-hit night last night. So in the mind of Chris Coughlin, he wants to finish this year strong. He wants to leave this year with a good taste in his mouth.
Of course, Coughlin, a Rookie of the Year in 2009. Jose Fernandez tomorrow night makes his final statement for a Rookie of the Year award. A guy that's on that list and in the discussion throws tonight for the Atlanta Braves. And the Marlins have seen him. He's really good, Julio Teheran.
Yeah, it is amazing. You can't forget about this 22-year-old. Teheran has good stuff. And talking to the Marlins hitters, they've seen Teheran a few times. 3 starts this year against the Marlins. You see the numbers, 2-0 and a nice 2.41 ERA. Coming off a very good month of August, 4-2, a 2.80 ERA in August. He has all the pitches, good live fastball, his breaking ball, and a changeup as well. The Marlins saw their fill changeup last night from Medlin.
Well, Tom Kohler gets the baseball for the Marlins. For Kohler, it's consistency. It's putting together 5-6 innings in a row rather than 3 good ones and then 1 bad one.
Yeah, he's had an opportunity to start a lot this year. That's good for Tom Kohler. It allows him to show the organization what he can do. 6 games, though, his last 6 games, the ERA is just under 6. He has to be in the strike zone. He has to be consistent.
Tonight, it is Art in the Park. The Contessa's in the house, and it's an email Twitter Tuesday for the Marlins and the Braves. To start things, Allison Williams, A-Dub.
All right, Rich, tonight we are talking art in the park, and it is most prominently displayed in Marlins Park in center field. The Red Groom's home run sculpture, certainly a signature part of all the artwork here in Marlins Park. And to tell us a little bit more about that is Claude Delorme, Executive Vice President of Operations and Events. And Claude, when fans come to this ballpark, one of the things they remember most when they leave is this beautiful home run sculpture. Tell me a little bit about how it came to be here at Marlins Park.
It all started with the Art in Public Places with the county. We had to identify specific pieces that we wanted to incorporate in the ballpark, and we were looking for a signature piece in the outfield area. And Red Groom submitted his piece among 400 artists and was the successful winner of it. And then it became a mechanical feature in which we really highlight all the vibrant colors associated in South Florida, and with the sun, the water, and everything that goes with it. You've got the Marlins going up and down the arch, landing in water, and right next to where we are, there's a big splash effect every time the Marlins land in the water. So it really identifies this ballpark to Miami and what we're all about.
It is so uniquely Miami. When you saw it come together from the renderings and then to the actual sculpture, what was that like?
It really changed. Our first draft, really the first time we saw a draft by Red, and the components and the moving parts evolved throughout his work. And he was, you talk about passion and all these artists, and to have an international artist like Red Groom's associated with this venue just brings this whole ballpark to the next level.
All right, and while it is certainly the piece of art that most people associate with Marlins Park, it is not the only piece of art, and we're going to see a lot of them tonight. Claude will be with me throughout the broadcast as we take a tour of some of the great Marlins art here in the park, so make sure you stay tuned for that. On an email, Twitter, Tuesday, join the conversation. Hashtag Marlins Art. It's Braves and Marlins first pitch coming up.
Let's Go Places by AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability, 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink Possible by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. And by Checkers, Feast On. In Miami tonight, Braves and Marlins. Braves try to continue their march to the best record in the National League and home field advantage in the postseason at 86-57. our Freddie Gonzalez's group. JM Lexus brings you the starting lineup. Jordan Schaefer is in center field. Justin Upton in right. Freddie Freeman's at first. Evan Gaddis is in the cleanup spot. Brian McCann will do the catching. Chris Johnson is at third base. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop. Elliott Johnson is at second. And Julio Teheran will hit ninth. There's a look at Tom Kohler for Kohler, his 20th start of the season.
You see the last 6 starts there on the bottom column, 0-3 and the ERA 5.68. The other thing about Tom Kohler, in his first 11 starts this year, he issued just 17 walks. That's over 64-plus innings. In his next 8 starts, 24 walks, over 42 innings. And we've talked about that. The walks get him in trouble, so let's see if he stays in the strike zone tonight.
Defensively, the Marlins move some pieces around tonight. Brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Well, one thing, if you're Chris Coughlin, you have to check the lineup card to see where you are. He's in left field tonight. That's because Giancarlo's back in the lineup and Yelich is in center. Lucas Echeverria, Solano, and Morrison around the infield, and Rob Brantley behind the plate.
Schaefer to the plate, and he runs up, rolls it foul. I don't know that anyone expected Jordan Schaefer to play this much or play this big a role for the Braves when things started. In fact, you look at the Braves media guide to start the year, and there's B.J. Upton in center and Jason Hayward and Justin Upton in the outfield. But the best made plans of general managers and executives don't always come to fruition. B.J. Upton has really struggled. Hayward's out with that broken jaw. Justin Upton is in there, but the Braves have gotten a nice season out of Schaefer.
There's a couple of things that can happen. A guy like Schaefer, number one, he's getting an opportunity. The name that comes to mind is Nate McLouth, who all of a sudden, after bouncing around, he was a Brave a bit. He was with the Pirates and now flourishing with the Orioles.
Backhanded there, and a quick flip by Solano in time to get the out.
Nicely done by Donovan Solano. We saw him last night go to his left, this time to his right, and then is able to turn and make a nice throw over to first base. Nicely done. You know, you think about it, Rich, the Braves could begin postseason with a couple of very expensive bench players.
Yeah, they could. They have a very powerful number 2 hitter in Justin Upton. Upton climbs in, having a streaky type year. We talked about his incredible April with 12 home runs and a really nice August. And Atlanta's hoping that September gets into October hot.
You get a streaky player like Justin Upton, and you're getting ready for postseason. You want him to be in one of those good streaks when postseason begins. But he had a base hit last night, and that snapped an 0 for 18 that he was on.
You see his second half numbers.
Power numbers down a little bit, but a lot of that, the damage in the first half, as you mentioned, was done in April.
Yeah, the 2 months starting with A were good for Upton. He reaches out, hits a little pop. Morrison back and is there and makes the catch. Kohler gets the first 2 outs of this first inning. Freddie Freeman is coming up, and it's a good time to throw out the very first email, especially since Freeman is in the MVP discussion, and rightfully so, with close to 100 RBIs. He's at 96, 19 homers. He's been a rock for the Braves. Gary in Boynton Beach asks, if Andrew McCutchen wins the MVP, he'll be the first center fielder in 28 years to do so. Who was the last center fielder to win MVP?
Throwing trivia at us.
That's right. Throwing down the gauntlet.
So that would be in 93. 20 years? 92 or
28 years.
28 years. Okay.
So you're looking 80.
In the 80s.
Was Dale Murphy's last.
Could be Dale. He won back-to-back MVPs.
All right, well, how about a Twitter poll while we throw
And I'm going to say that's a good guess on your part. I'm going to say that's who it is.
Is Freddie Freeman a legitimate National League MVP candidate?
Absolutely.
Yes. Hashtag Freddie MVP, yes. That's not to say that he's going to win it, but the question is he a legitimate candidate?
I'll tell you a name that's crept into the MVP talks lately is Matt Carpenter, the Cardinals, along with his teammate Yadier Molina.
Yeah, well, you know, we heard that talk when we last saw the Cardinals because of just the incredible value leading the league in runs, being such a great hitter at the top of the order. Smacked into right. Stanton over to get it. Freeman around first. He'll hold right there. Stanton with that tender ankle seemed to get over there fine and make a strong throw to second. So that's good to see. And here's Evan Gattis with a runner at first and 2 outs.
Well, Freddie Freeman has hit over 350 this year against the Marlins. So no surprise that he gets himself a base hit.
Gattis last night had a big hit, a 2-run double in the 4th. And he smacks that one in the gap. Left center field. Freeman is off and running. Headed towards third. Up with the ball, Yelich. Here comes Freeman, and he is going to score. And Evan Gattis does it again. Tell you what, the Braves really have something with this guy who had just the unbelievable story in getting to the big leagues. Now that he's here, and now that he went back down to get his stroke back, he's clobbering the ball again.
Boy, old school, no batting gloves, and he just rakes this ball. And for Evan Gattis, 53 RBIs, he has just 278 at bats. So extremely productive.
Into Brian McCann. I know you can't have everything in life, and last night you were pointing out that if there is a weak spot for the Braves, it's at the top of the order. But once they get into the order, Upton, Freeman, Gattis, McCann, Chris Johnson, a batting leader right now. And McCann knocks one in the gap. That's going to the same place as Gattis's ball. And the Braves with back-to-back hits. Freeman the single, Gattis and McCann with doubles. It's 2-0.
Now the Braves doing what they did last night in the 4th inning. They put together 3 doubles in a row, a walk and then another base hit. They got all their runs and all their hits in that 4th inning. Think about the Braves, Rich, if they go on and advance and get to the World Series and they're able to use a DH. That's just a sweet swing. That's something Brian McCann has done his entire career. Brian McCann is one of those guys, he's just a pure hitter.
Having a discussion with Andy Fletcher, the second base umpire. And now here's Johnson, who was 1 for 4 last night. He smacks it in the gap. Yelich is over, and he makes the catch. Tom Kohler got the first 2 outs. Then the Braves get the first 2 runs. Headed to the bottom of the first, 2-0 Atlanta. Like last night, it's 2-0 Atlanta. And the Marlins lineup brought to you by JM Lexus, Chris Coughlin, Ed Lucas, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, Logan Morrison, Donovan Solano, Adeiny Echeverria, Rob Brantley, and Tom Kohler. And there is Julio Teheran. His name certainly in the discussion for Rookie of the Year. Teheran and the Marlins just saw each other at the end of August. And Teheran was terrific. In fact, he outdueled Jose Fernandez and won the ball game 2-1, 6 1/3, 4 hits, a run, and he punched out 8.
And there's a look at Julio Teheran. The Marlins have seen him 3 times this year, and he's pitched well. 2-0 and a 2.41 ERA, coming off a good month of August. And right at the top, if not the top, near the top of their rotation.
Chris Coughlin up first. Braves couldn't get Coughlin out last night. 4 for 4 night. Line drives, sharp ground balls all over the ballpark. As we showed you from the outset of the telecast, for the rest of the year, you'll see Coughlin in a variety of spots. In left, made a start in right. He can play center. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. As Mike Redmond told us before the ball game, Chris Coughlin is swinging the bat well, and if that's Chris Coughlin, then he's going to play. Because the Marlins, offensively challenged throughout the year, are looking for bats. Breaking ball. And a good one. Boy, Teheran snaps it off. And Coughlin goes down. Defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Well, there's Gaddis, the big bat. He's in left. Schaefer and Upton in the outfield. Chris Johnson. Andrelton Simmons has been very solid at shortstop. Elliott Johnson at second. Freddie Freeman and Brian McCann. Andrelton Simmons, I think, has a shot to win a Gold Glove this year.
I would agree with you on that. Ed Lucas comes to the plate. A lot of other scouts would agree with you on that. Simmons has made 10 errors on the year, and he makes spectacular plays just like Adeiny Echeverria. Echeverria has made 14 on the season. And the other thing, when you talk to teams around the National League, the infield in Atlanta at times cannot be the easiest for an infielder. And yet he plays it, and he plays it well. Lucas dumps it into center field, and Lucas has a hit. And up comes Christian Yelich.
Not that it should matter, and I know we've had discussions on this, but with Simmons, it'll help him too that he has 15 home runs. He swung the bat all right this year too.
This is from Ian in Davie. I'm a senior at Western High School, play on my school's varsity baseball team as Yelich swings and misses. I'm interested in pursuing a sports announcing career and going to college for communications and broadcasting. Would it be possible to get an internship with you next season? Are we accepting internships? Applications?
I don't know if we've crossed over that that period of time yet.
Pitch misses outside. Ian, I would say this. Get yourself into a good college. Get yourself on the student television and radio station. Play baseball for as long as you can. And try to get an internship when you're in college.
Was the MVP center field, was that directed at the National League?
Last center fielder to be an MVP, I think, was
because I'm getting a tweet from Travis. It's telling me that 16 years ago, Ken Griffey Jr. was the MVP.
So if you go nationally, was Willie McGee an MVP in St. Louis? He won a batting
Murphy
title.
was 82 and 83. Dale Murphy.
I know McGee won a batting title, and he actually won a batting title with both teams. He had enough at bats with St. Louis, then I think he got traded to Oakland and still won the batting title because he had enough at bats to qualify in the National League. Full count, 3-2 to Yelich. Lucas is at first. Julio Teheran has put in a terrific season, and the Braves, obviously, as you pointed out, are counting on him once the postseason starts. With so much talk about inning workload for young pitchers around baseball, not just Jose Fernandez, Teheran is sitting at 161 to third, 26 starts. Braves have the luxury over the next 3 weeks to, if they want to push him out a few days like they have here on this start, they can do that and limit his innings going into the postseason.
Yeah, last year for Teheran, between AAA and a few games with the Braves, he threw just 137 and a third innings. Year before that in the minor leagues, he threw over 144. But I was told he's on no limit. But you're right, I think they can pick their spots. Freddie Gonzalez will give them those extra days.
Pitch misses outside. And Yelich trots down to first. Suddenly Julio Teheran having trouble finding the plate.
Well, there's the scouting report. He has solid velocity. He'll use both 2 and 4 seamers. And that curveball, that was the pitch that struck out Chris Coghlan.
Tommy, one thing we refuse to do, and I emailed Twitter Tuesday when a question like that comes up, is Google it and search for it on our laptops. So we threw out Murphy and McGee. And it turns out Willie McGee in 1985 was an MVP.
All right.
But you've had other outfielders, guys that weren't in center. Andre Dawson in 87. Kirk Gibson in 88. Kevin Mitchell in 89. Bonds in 90. And, of course, Bonds had that long run of MVP awards. Stanton takes a breaking ball. Stanton, when he was in Atlanta, tweaked the ankle, played on it, and finally got to the point where he needed to take a couple days off. Back in the lineup. And the Marlins hoping he can do some damage here. Teheran. That's hammered down the line. And fair. Scorching into the corner. Lucas will score. Yelich racing for third. Stop sign is up. And with Simmons' arm on the relay, Yelich probably would have been in trouble at the plate. That ball was hit so hard. It's amazing that it didn't hook foul.
Well, that's why it didn't hook foul. It was hit so hard. If you don't hit that ball that hard, it hooks foul. Giancarlo has so much strength. He lines this ball, it stays fair, and he hit it so hard that Gaddis was able to get to it. Even though Yelich was flying from first base, Joe Espada put the stop sign up for him.
On Phantom Cam, we've got Phantom Cam over in the first base camera well tonight. Stanton's bat doesn't vibrate as much as the others, does it? I mean, it's just solid.
Wow.
Other guys hit that, and the bat looks like a noodle sometimes. Here's Morrison.
That would be a wet noodle,
yeah.
too.
All right, and a bat here for Morrison and a chance to tie the game or even take the lead. A simple ground ball will do the trick as far as tying it. The Braves infield will surrender the run to get a ground ball. They're back. Stanton's at second. Yelich is at third. Morrison 0 for 2 last night. Busts his bat. A little looper. Gonna fall. Base hit. Yelich scores, and for Morrison, he's probably thinking maybe there is a baseball god. Remember the ball he hit last night, about 390 feet, a rocket to right that was caught at the track? Well, that was a busted bat and an RBI single.
And I watched both of the base runners. I thought they did a good job. Yelich goes back and tags up. Stanton goes about halfway there. Once he sees it drop, he knows he's not going to score, but he gets over to third. And Yelich did the right thing and Of course, Lomo did the right thing, dropped it in for an RBI single.
At the corners, and here is Solano. Braves infield back for 2.
Nice to see the offense respond after the Braves put a 2 spot up there in the top half of the inning.
Of course, all year long, Solano has kind of been the answer to not necessarily a trivia question, but a question most people don't know the answer to, and that is, who's the Marlins' best hitter with runners in scoring position? And it's Donovan Solano at .356. With runners in scoring position and 2 outs, obviously there's 1 out here, but as Vin would say, it's interesting to note, .455.
I mean, he's up there with Freddie Freeman in that department. Boy, just such a difference when Stanton is in the middle of that lineup.
Breaking ball misses outside. You'd be surprised to find the Marlin who is second on the list with runners in scoring position. That's Christian Yelich. But with Solano, you can see why. He has, especially in these spots, runners on, runners in scoring position, very good at bats. He has the ability to shorten his swing. It's hard enough to hit a major league pitch, fastball, breaking ball, but to have the ability to hit it kind of where you want.
Well, I think the other reason that Yelich has had success, he has such a good knowledge of the strike zone too.
Back to the mound. That might be 2. Simmons in the dirt, and it kicks away. And Miami gets another run. Boy, that was tailor-made. And we just got through talking about Andrelton Simmons and the Gold Glove. That's a play that the young shortstop obviously would like to have back.
This is very un-Braves-like, the way they play. They usually make this play. Simmons had time. Tehran gave him a good throw. A little interference from Lomo, but not too bad. He just made a bad throw to first base, and Freeman couldn't pick it. Sometimes he does. So the Marlins capitalize and take the lead.
Solano gets the RBI with an assist from Morrison and from Simmons. And Miami is on top 3-2. Here's Echeverria. He swings and misses. 0-1. Rob Brantley on deck. Tehran delivers. It's a strike. Betty Ann in Fort White, Florida. Been a Braves fan since '81. I enjoy hearing you guys when the Marlins play the Braves. Since I live in North Florida now, on a night like this, I can't watch the Braves telecast. Thanks for being fair with the Braves, and I enjoy your humor. Thank you, Betty Ann.
We appreciate that, Betty Ann.
This is the type of season where you need a good sense of humor. Elliott Johnson makes the catch, and Miami answers Atlanta with 3 runs in the first. And their bat looks like a noodle. Now, no offense to Ed Lucas, but here's a look at Lucas's swing. This was the bloop single. Watch the bat.
And his hands.
Wow, he serves it into center. Now, watch Stanton. 114 miles an hour off the bat.
That is called hitting it on the screws, squaring it up, getting there on time.
Simmons is up right now. That 114, I'll bet you, is one of the hardest hit balls of the year. If you follow the Marlins, you know that Stanton's home run against Jamie Moyer, 122 miles an hour, is the hardest ball ever recorded off the bat. And they've been tracking exit speeds, 4 or 5 years, I believe.
This is an inning, by the way, that Tom Kohler now, once he's been given the lead, he has it back. He has to go out there and have a 1-2-3 inning, and he's fallen behind Simmons 3-0.
Those are striking. It's 3-1 now. The Braves used 3 consecutive hits. Freeman, a single with 2 outs, and then doubles by Gaddis and McCann to get on the board. And he walks him. So a 5-pitch walk after the Marlins come back to take the lead. And here's Elliott Johnson.
Got a tweet from Mary Beth, and I want to get this tweet out because I'm frustrated at that walk there. You just can't do that after you've just been handed a 1-run lead. But here's the tweet from Mary Beth. It's on a much lighter note. My favorite piece of in the ballpark is a photo of Cody Ross's son, and I know we're going to be going around all night with Allison, and I'm sure Allison, I hope she does, will stop by that photo that's in the ballpark. It's a great photo of Cody Ross's son.
Elliott Johnson had a hit last night, drove in a run, stole a bag. Finds himself at second base again tonight. We've seen him in a variety of spots already, not only in the field but in different uniform. He was in Kansas City when the Marlins were there.
So once again, no Dan Uggla in the lineup, who continues to struggle.
Uggla, Upton, the 2 guys that you referred to as big salary guys that aren't playing right now. Kohler misses outside. Mr. Dimples, friend of the show. Which Marlin do you expect to be on the offseason trading block, and who might the Marlins hope to get in return? I think the important part of that question is what do you get in return? Because the Marlins definitely have needs, and the needs are guys with bats in their hands that can hit. Whether it's a third baseman, a catcher. Obviously, the team is offensively challenged. They've been at the bottom of every statistical category in the National League from day one.
67 games, Rich, this year of scoring 2 runs or less.
So with that in mind, Mr. Dimples and Mr. Hutton, if you need that, and it's hard to, if you don't sign a huge free agent contract, and that didn't go well for the Marlins, the only way to get that is trade for it. Johnson smacks it into left field. Coughlin is there and he makes the catch.
Well, and the thing you have to remember, to get quality, you have to trade quality. So you're not going to trade a bullpen guy and all of a sudden get a everyday third baseman who can hit home runs. I mean, to get someone of quality, you have to trade a little quality.
And the Marlins have what is the most coveted thing in baseball, and that is good young pitching, and there's more on the way. They also have a lot of guys in the outfield. So I don't know that you can put your finger on one guy or 2 guys, but I think there are pieces there that the Marlins might be able to send somewhere to find someone who can hit. Thanks for joining the show, Mr. Dimples. Andrelton Simmons is now at second. Tomorrow night, it's Game 3, and Tommy, I know you know this, but just a reminder, kids eat free on Wednesday. Wednesday, September 11th, Marlins and Braves honor the heroes of 9/11 on First Responders Night. Kids eat free. We know that. All kids in attendance get a voucher for a KM Beef Frank, bag of Frito-Lay chips, and a Pepsi or Aquafina water. Get your tickets at marlins.com.
Kids can eat free while they watch Jose Fernandez make his last start of the year. First responders can sit and watch Jose Fernandez make his last start of the year and root him on for that Rookie of the Year.
I think you should write the promos. That's good. That's good writing there, Tommy Hutton. Schaefer now. Kohler going after him, trying to get through this inning and keep the Braves a run away. Oh, 2. Held on to by Brantley, and Kohler pitches around the leadoff walk. The Marlins up by a run. Get on the internet, head to Facebook, follow the game on Twitter, and we'll keep you up to date with the Marlins, all your other favorite Florida sports teams.
I like this tweet here, Rich. Senior Chief says, at the game tonight, first one in the new ballpark. What took so long, Senior? It's amazing and cool. Tell me if you read this tweet, please. Oh, we did.
Well, the Braves were all set up in this one. They came out, got 2 on the board. They had their young stud right-hander Julio Teheran pitching. Miami answered with 3 runs in the bottom of the first, bottom of the second. And still a 1-run Miami lead. Rob Brantley, and then Tom Kohler, and then Chris Coghlan. And Teheran misses away. Brantley last night 0 for 2, a couple strikeouts. Jeff Mathis caught a foul tip on his right thumb. Little tapper. Teheran pounces, gets the out. And Mathis right now is doubtful for the next few days.
And the tough part about that is that he's done such a great job in handling Jose Fernandez, who